Bases dropped on soccer's morning show. It's a Wall Pass Wednesday, which means anything is on the table. But since it is a match day, obviously I know folks are going to want to talk about that. It is AmFam 2 Electric Boogaloo tonight at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And let's see, it's a Peachtree TV pregame show is 7. Kickoff, I think, is about 7:39 with Toluca. And it'll be fun. As Mike Conti posted on the Twitters this morning, pregame show with Emily Gagnon from Atlanta's News First over at Channel 46 and some guy named me. And I'll be on the sidelines tonight as Mike and Jason take care of all of the action upstairs. Apparently there's going to be a laser show at halftime for those of you who are going. And it should be fun. So be great to see everybody out at Mercedes-Benz tonight. 7 o'clock pregame for those of you that want to do a multi-screen experience. Maybe if you're there and you want to take your device with you, and you can watch the pregame show and tailgate on your way in. You keep watching. But for those of you that don't make your way to MBS tonight, Peachtree TV, 7 o'clock pregame, kickoff a little after 7:30 for AmFam Cup, Atlanta United, and Toluca. So it's going to be fun. So any questions about that you guys want to talk about? Radio Star 94. Excellent. Thank you for the reminder, Coco. Yes, Star 94 on the Odyssey app. So it is all over the place. So Star 94, Peachtree TV, starting around 7 o'clock. So that'll be fun. Good morning, Jarrett. What is going on with John here, Jarrett there?
Oh, not much. Just kind of getting ready for the game, getting ready for the day. We'll get into it more, but you're approaching dress rehearsal mode, which I guess would be St. Louis.
Yeah, I think you're right.
This is still very much in that category, though. Of it's the first chance people are going to have really to watch it up close, and depending on how closely you watch it, like maybe you watch it for fun. It doesn't matter. Like however you watch the game, just enjoy it. Like you don't have to watch it from a super tactical perspective to enjoy it. You can just have fun with it. It's the same reason we watch movies like Pacific Rim, because it's fun to watch giant robots fight kaiju. Sometimes you just want to watch fun and not worry about stuff, just enjoy the game. But that being said, this is, the Hawks are on 92.9, Coco, because we must be punished further. Our punishment must be more severe, apparently. Don't know what I did to deserve that, but here we are nevertheless. This is that chance really to see what they look like. Because so far we've had it on screens of varying quality, and now it's a chance to really see it in person, to see how things have been put together. We'll see. I don't want, because I haven't made much in the way of snap judgments because A, it's preseason. B, it's preseason. This is where you're kind of getting all the kinks worked out, but you want to see fewer errors as you go through preseason, so that by the time you get to the regular season, you've kind of ironed out the kinks. Well, now you're to the point where the kinks, you want to have most of them ironed out. And we'll see how much that matters. We'll see what it all means right now. We got time.
Oh, and your Pacific Rim thought is how Ricky attacks the Fast and Furious series.
Yeah. We probably won't see Yakumakis because at last check, he still does not have his...
It's fun with visas.
Yeah, still does not have his visa all the way done. Now, that might come through today, and he might be available. We'll see. I believe there was a teasing of an announcement of some sort at 11 o'clock.
Yes. Might have to
don't know what that is, but...
Might have to do with clothing.
Maybe. But I don't know what to expect him. Just because, you're dealing with visas, and government is annoying to deal with.
Yes. Yes, Coco, you're getting the new sock reveal. That is what's going to happen at 11 o'clock. It is
That'd be amazing.
Absolutely a new pair of socks, and it's just going to be like this big wide shot, and you're just going to see this matted with just wadded ball of something resembling socks, and then they'll hit a spotlight at 11 o'clock. And so, yes, sock reveal coming up maybe later this morning, so I'll keep an eye on that. So anything you guys want to talk about when it comes to the match tonight, go ahead and post it in the Twitch pitch. We'll run through it. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. It's Champions League yesterday. Mikel Arteta lashed out at VAR. It looks like a U.S. billionaire is set to launch a bid for Spurs. So we have billionaires daily making their announcements, and so we got all that stuff. But anything on your mind when it comes to the match tonight, go ahead and fire off the Twitch pitch. We can talk about it there as well. We put out the bat signal for Bart Keeler for hour number 2. Dylan Butler is doing MLSsoccer.com stuff, and he's locked into that this week. So, and I gave Dylan basically a golden ticket status. I said, look,
Dylan stays golden ticket.
Yes. And so whenever you are out in the community, whenever you're out and you want to catch your breath, you want to dive in, doesn't matter what time it is, Dylan can hop in at any time. So if we're surprised by Dylan Butler at an odd time and an odd day, that's why. Okay, opening kickoff. Brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee, kickoffcoffeeco.com. There's your QR code for those of you who are watching on Twitch. Don't forget, remember, kickoffcoffeeco.com. Use the code soccer down here. You get 15% off your purchase when it comes to everything Kickoff Coffee. They, in turn, take 10% reinvested into the youth game. Very, very cool stuff from our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. MLSsoccer.com has announced their pairings for talent in the booth, and the live event production plan has been unveiled. So here we go. They said that they will feature more camera angles, 1080p video, doubly audio at 5.1, enhanced data and graphics and live match coverage, storytelling, new graphics package bringing MLS clubs to the forefront, and incorporate storyline stats and advanced data visualization. So here in MLS 360 is the Whip Around Show. Liam McHugh, Kalen Kyle are your hosts. Sasha Klestion, Bradley Wright Phillips, Christina Uncle. So that's MLS 360. That's your Whip Around Show, live look-ins, every goal, penalty kick, big save, analysis, and discussion, according to MLSsoccer.com. So Liam McHugh and Kalen Kyle are hosting that. Countdown and wrap-up. Countdown is before each match. The pregame show is available in English and Spanish. Wrap-up is your full recap of the day's action. Live post-game coverage available in English and Spanish. Spanish language hosts Tony Cerchi, Stefano Fusaro. Analysts Diego Valeri, Melissa Ortiz, Chelsea Cabarces. English language hosts, someone very familiar, Jillian Sakovitz. Well done. She gets to be a part of Countdown and Wrap Up. Andrew Wiebe is going to be there with her. Nigel Rio-Coker, Kalen Karshep, Messing, Matt Doyle. Now we get to the play-by-play and the analysts. And I don't know if this was done in any kind of order, like your A team, your B team, or whatever, but here we go. Jake Zivin, Taylor Twellman, Keith Costigan, Mo Adu. They've worked together at Big Fox, so there's some rhythm there. Kevin Egan, Kendra D. St. Aubin. Cangelosi, Danny Higginbotham, and I think Cangelosi has already said on Twitter that they are going to be at the Philadelphia match for week number 1. Eric Krakauer and Lloyd Sam working together in Charlotte last year. They've got that. They have their rhythm together, so they kept them together as a pairing. Jen Hildreth or Chris Whittingham and Lori Lindsay. Jen and Lori worked together forever doing NWSL and all the other things, so that's an easy one. Blake Price, Paul Dolan. Here's an interesting one for me. Max Bretos and Brian Dunseth. I like that one.
Yeah.
I like Max and Dunny. That one's good. Mark Followell or Chris Whittingham when Mark isn't doing his Dallas Mavericks duties with Daniel Slayton. Drake Cordero, Jamie Watson, Callum Williams, Kalen Carr, Tyler Terrence, Devin Kerr, Tony Husband, Ross Smith, Rogo, Mark Rogandino's paired with Heath Pierce, Ed Cohen, Greg Sutton, and Adrian Healy, and American legend Kobe Jones, Nate McCady, Tony Miola, Warren Barton, also regular members of the team. And then they also have the 3, 5, 11 Spanish language pairings and the 3 French language pairings. Weekly programming, aside from Countdown 360 and Wrap Up, studio programming, previews, matchups, You've got that. You've got production, newly rebuilt facility in New York City, state-of-the-art studios, and then they mentioned the subscriptions available. So that is your broadcast teams, as we've been told by MLS Soccer this morning. So there you go. What do you think, Garrett?
I'm excited about it, and I'm also going to be critical for a minute that y'all could have done this before now. Like, I'm still of the mindset we're leaving this really late, man. I'm glad we're getting it done. I just wish we weren't leaving it so damn late.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm excited about the prospect of it all, though. That doesn't change that fact. It just changes. It's just that I'm annoyed we're left it so damn late.
What, 10 days before kick, and you finally get your crew announcements?
Yeah, it's just whatever, man.
So there you go with your crew announcements and everything. And I know that those of us who were looking at the pairings, Minnesota United, you had Callum and Kendra. You figured it would, and I think Callum moved to New York because of his wife is an accomplished doctor, and so they moved east away from the Twin Cities, and so you've got Callum and Kendra was always something that you look forward to, but Kevin and Kendra now, and Callum and Kalen. This is going to get people tongue tied. Callum and Kalen, Kevin and Kendra.
So I mean, yeah, it's exciting that it's exciting that they got it all announced. It's just waited to the last 10 minutes to do it. It's kind of annoying to me. I was hoping they would have it done before now, but they didn't. So all I am left to do is sit here and be annoyed, which is whatever.
Yes. Coco says Apple seems to be building the plane while it's taking off. And Ricky wasn't in the release. Extra Time is also going to be on MLS Season Pass and back on YouTube in the studios. And Coco with a public service announcement for baseball. The Bananas begin the Banana Ball World Tour on Friday, streamed exclusively on YouTube. And for those of you that have not seen
the Lord's work,
the Savannah Bananas, it's a hoot. Good luck getting a ticket. That's all I can say.
No kidding.
Yeah, I mean, they pack out Grayson Stadium down there, and it is difficult getting a ticket. But, good on them for getting everything laid out for the Bananas and getting that brand, just crushing it all over the place. So very, very cool stuff. Coco, talking about 11 o'clock this morning, says they'll have a whole stage set up, but black curtains covering everything but the person's socks. That's your reveal at 11 o'clock. Ricky,
I hope the socks are the reveal just because I want to watch everyone break.
Just you sit there. There's a curtain. You see a pair of cleats. You see a pair of socks, and the curtain just stops right there. And then you get your fireworks and your graphic. It's like new socks. Don't you like them? Ricky says apparently whatever's happening at 11 o'clock goes on sale at the team store at Atlantic Station. So yeah, we've got that. Burns says Luis Abram is in town. His sources at the Peruvian restaurant in Roswell told me that he dined there. Okay, so that's good intel on Luis Abram. We'll keep an eye on that. Let's see. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else tied to Cruz and everything. Niall says his sources found Miles at Monero and Ponce City Market. Sources say he looks in fine spirits, otherwise known as AKA I met him. So, yeah. So Niall's source is Niall. And Mikey Ambrose was there too. So, Coco, a countdown before each match. Yeah, this is network programming now. So, literally, what you're going to be getting is the half. I think it's the 7 to 7:30 is how this works with countdown. Is you get the network countdown and your match. So literally, it's like big network show, and then you get your match with the crew. So it'll be. And then you get your post game at 1:30 in the morning for another half hour. So it's going to be a long day. So if you've got season pass, make sure that you got your caffeine in you too. So it's going to be fun. And yes, Ricky, they paired Mo with another Kevin, and Ricky is feeling that one when we have everything laid out. Coco's got Roku's on everything. Roku's got app updates pushed out hopefully in time. So But yeah, and Coco, we will. Yeah, we are going to talk about Champions League. We are going to talk about all that. Public service announcement by Abby. There's a new tailgate lot. Check with your supporters groups for info before the pre-sale of season parking. And so, once again, it'll be great to see everybody. And this is the first chance to see everybody before the first match of the year that counts against Jarrett's San Jose Earthquakes in 10 days' time. So you got the match tonight. You've got St. Louis behind closed doors on the weekend, and then you got everybody getting ready for the 25th and the big reveal, where everybody's just going to show off their socks. That's all they're going to do.
Yes.
That's your opening kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee, kickoffcoffeeco.com. And once again, use the code SoccerDownHere15 to get 15% off of your purchase. And they, in turn, take 10% and roll it over into the youth game. Very, very cool stuff from our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Yeah. So is it raining, Sean? Like right now, is it raining? Are you serious?
It's raining where I am.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, I live in Woodstock, so that, take it for what it's worth.
Okay. Yeah, because I looked outside and we had gotten the dusting here inside the perimeter, but I didn't know if it was raining. So we'll see. So apparently for Sean, it is raining, and that's going to keep him from his golf game, I guess, leading into the match tonight. So good vibes for us. Let's see. We got a lot of stuff. So once again, everybody, if you've got your thoughts and questions about Matchday, it's a Wall Pass Wednesday. Anything's on the table as it traditionally is. So we'll be zipping around all over the place with all the action happening yesterday. We had more quotes. People were mad outside of behavior and activity. Like I said, we got the takeover bid alleged for Spurs. Coco says it's raining there in New Orleans. It's kind of a constant this time of year. Yeah, and just be safe all the time when it comes to that stuff. Let's see. Bayern has issues. So Byrne says Bayern has issues both with their roster and their manager. So Champions League discussion starts off with PSG not getting the Duke yesterday. That was wild. And the irony of it being Kingsley Coman getting the goal for the 1-0 yesterday. So PSG, Mbappe was on the bench, if memory serves, and so they are in a bit of a bind as they are getting into leg number 2. So it was Milan wins it 1-0 over Spurs. Bayern wins 1-0 over PSG. So Spurs and PSG have some holes that they've got to dig out of in Champions League.
Yeah, and man, just kind of feels like that's like Spurs' state of being.
Yeah.
We have to dig out of holes.
Yes.
Why? No, because we are Spurs.
Yes,
is what we do.
Very Spursy. Yeah, it was a goal.
It is very Spursy.
Goal in the 7th minute by Diaz, and that was it. I mean, literally, Brahim Diaz's goal, 1-0 loss in the round of 16. But Antonio Conte says that when they get back to Tottenham Spurs Stadium, the fans can bring them through. 7 minutes in close range, and that was it. I mean, literally, first thing happened in 7 minutes. Yellow card to Eric Dyer. He's going to miss out through suspension. 1-goal margin means the tie is still open. I wish that that we had Nick here so we could have Nick do Antonio Conte in post match and get that impression down. But in Bayern Munich, you had Coman with the goal in the 53rd. He did not celebrate, and Pavard got a red at 90+2, so obviously he won't be available for the return leg. And born in Paris, raised at PSG, scored the only goal, and now you have PSG, who's lost 5 games in all competitions in 2023, when I think it took them like forever to lose 5 games in 2022. Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi were all on the pitch in the second half, but they couldn't get it done. So PSG is in a hole. That's not something I would have said.
No, but again, PSG just kind of seems to exist in there, for lack of a better word.
Yep.
They just kind of seem to exist in that hole,
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just I feel like we're always like waiting for PSG to get over the hump in the same way that we're waiting for City to do it. Like, ideally, the funniest damn final for my money from a neutral perspective would be PSG and City. Because then somebody's got to go home a new level of disappointed.
Mm-hmm. Mm. And looking at comments, Coco, yeah, Mbappe didn't start. Neither did Alphonso Davies for Bayern. Burned. Striker situation's unsettled. Leroy Sané remains a black hole. And Nagelsmann over-tinkers. That's a word. Over-tinkers. It's Groundhog Day at Bayern for Bern. So, over-tinkering. That's a great word to use.
Real word.
It is now.
In this sense.
In this sense. But, yeah, Nagelsmann over-tinkers. Coco. So when we said when they get back to being Spurs, and Coco's like, so 30 minutes after the match? Yes, absolutely.
So Spursy. Just so Spursy.
And Sean is over Antonio Conte. And we had this discussion yesterday, Jarrett. I don't think Conte's contract is done at the end of the year.
Okay.
And he has put aside any kind of talking about extensions, renewals, what have you. I still think Antonio Conte is done at the end of this season. I mean,
I was about to ask, you think this is like
because first off,
he's just like, I got better things to do.
Well, we're still not 100% after gallbladder surgery, and he's lost 3 friends this year. I think to cancer and such. And I just think that Conte is going to be looking, internally, and he's just going to kind of be like, man. This is it's hitting too deep and it's hitting too hard. And I think that it's time I think he'll go home and just kind of try to heal up for a year, or someone will give him a call in desperation, probably in December or something like that. Hey, dude, can you get us out of trouble? I just think that he's done. I really do. I think that Conte's done after this season. Coco, it's the knockout stage. PSG are liable to lose at any moment. Yes, that is absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, since it is a Wall Pass Wednesday, I'm just kind of reading things in the timeline. Gigi will not play tonight. We're still waiting on visa stuff for both him and Abram. So he might be in the building in street clothes for the palatial wave, and public address, might sit there and go, ladies and gentlemen, and take him out to like the red, the red hat position or something like that, or introduce him pregame or half.
Red hat position.
Yeah, just like, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce your newest 5-stripe, Yargis, Yakamakis, and maybe he's over in the supporter section or something, or he's in a box or something, and he waves and everybody cheers. I think that's what we'll get from Tank tonight. I think you'll probably get one of those. Hey, here he is, and he waves at everybody. And
here he is. There he goes.
Yes, here he is, and cheer. Abby says she's got to get another couple of flags. Are you serious, Coco? The Jesse Marsh deal has fallen through at Southampton. Okay, that's
well, U.S. national team Twitter gets their I guess it's their wish for some of them. For some of them, it's their nightmare.
Yeah. Jeremy Wilson at the Telegraph. Talks have broken down. The club not keen on a long-term contract given the current situation. Ruben Sellis to take the Chelsea game, and the club still see him as a viable longer-term option, potentially with a more experienced coach.
Oh, so did they want him to come in and do a Big Sam, and he doesn't want to do that? Is that what we're talking here?
I think that's what we're talking here. They wanted to have Jesse Marsh try to save them, and then they would probably.
Jesse's like, nah, man, I want a long-term gig.
Yeah, I'm
not trying to come in here and be a mercenary. I'm trying to come in here and build something. Because to that point, it'd be easier to bring in somebody like a Big Sam and do that than to do to just cobble together something with. It'd be easier to just cobble something together.
Yeah.
Big Sam style than it is to come in and just decide, hey, everybody, we're going to play Red Bull style for the rest of the season. Just do it.
Yeah.
Well, that's much easier said than done.
Yes.
So if it went as a conversation of they wanted him to basically help get them through the end of the season and there was nothing else beyond that, yeah, I could see him saying, no, my thing's more of a long term project.
I want to be here as a part of a build. I see promise here, what have you, and I want to be here more than just until 4 months for me is not the way that I want to be here.
Yeah.
It's like I want to be here a lot longer than that because, if I save you, then obviously I want to go hang out and do those kinds of things. But no, I mean, I completely and totally get that that you want to be a long-term solution. You don't want to be a. Now, did you see yesterday that Neil Warnock is back?
No.
At the age of 74. He retired last year. Huddersfield Town knocked on his door, and he's like, okay. So he's back. Huddersfield's in the relegation zone in the championship. But, yeah, Neil Warnock. So Neil Warnock is off the table. Big Sam is not. I'm sure he sent that resume to Southampton.
Yeah, Big Sam almost certainly made the call.
Oh, man.
I was like, hey, my phone number hasn't changed.
Oh, no, Abby, no question. Age has nothing to do with coaching abilities, just the fact that Warnock had been in so many different situations, and he finally called it quits after being involved in the sport for 50-plus years, and then he's retired, and then he's not. He's like, I'm done. At the end of last season, he's done. And now he gets a phone call, and he's back. So now we're looking at folks. Jesse doesn't want the 6-month deal. Emilio, when it comes to, I don't think you're allowed to sit on the team. I don't think you're allowed to sit on the bench if you don't have a visa. That's why I think you'll be in the building somewhere in street clothes and golf shirt or something like that. If we're looking at Gigi and Abram, I think they might be in the building, but they'll probably be like, in a box or something, or just on the field, hanging out. And then you go back to where you were sitting. Sam saw that Tata was linked to Leeds. Did not see that. I think Leeds right now is going with a caretaker manager, the manager that's been with them since they haven't been able to find someone to hop into that position.
Yeah, they're going full interim, and then if when they're ready, they'll. I figure when they are ready, they will figure out who it's going to be long term. But
so right now Leeds is just kind of sitting there going, yeah, we'll just stick with what we got. Coco, to your point, yeah, gegenpressing doesn't really work for 6 months,
and especially for Marsh. I mean, if the upshot there is that it damages him long term, where he comes in because they say, well, we want you to put your system in place. We only do it for a couple months, though. Well, I mean, how does that benefit me?
I mean,
if I'm Jesse Marsh, because if I put it in place with a team that might get relegated here soon, and we still get relegated, especially considering the fact that you already have like this bias against American coaches, like that's not going to get any better.
No, it's not. And especially if, if say Southampton, if Marsh were to take the gig and Southampton in turn gets relegated, then you're going to have all of the crap, and that's what it is. It's crap thrown at an American coach. Oh, he couldn't keep up Southampton because of his style and what he tried to do. Yeah, because it's schizophrenic. You can't just sit there and do what Ralph Hasenhüttl started, Nathan Jones tried to do, and then the patience that they had at Southampton. Nathan Jones loses 7 of 8. They're still in the bottom of the table. You had to go to Luton Town in the championship to try to bring in a new manager.
Yeah,
that should say something about Southampton in the first place after you fired Ralph Hasenhüttl. Then you bring in Nathan Jones. Jones can't get him out of the relegation zone. Then you want Jesse Marsh or whomever. And if that individual doesn't get you out of the relegation zone, you're going to get ished on because you couldn't save the club. And you're going to get ished on even more if you're an American manager that couldn't save the club. Because it gives the British fans something to do. Regardless of how logical it is, they'll dump on the American manager even more, I think, than you would. Oh, Big Sam just couldn't do it. Neil Warnock just couldn't do it. He tried.
Yeah,
tried his best, and he just couldn't do it. The American manager, he's an American manager. He couldn't quite pull it off. It just speaks to the American manager. They can't handle the pressure in these relegation situations.
Yeah, I wouldn't want the job either. Like in that sense, if they just want me to come in for a couple of months, I wouldn't want it either, man.
And
like, why would you take it?
Yeah, why? Unless you get that long-term deal and can sit there and say, look, regardless of what happens at the end of this season, I'm here to build long-term. And apparently, Southampton wasn't a fan of that. We want somebody to save us now. We'll worry about the details later.
Yeah, but if it doesn't work again, it's already hard enough as an American manager over there. Just wait for something. Just wait for something. Just wait for somebody. You don't have to take the first offer that's thrown at you. Wait for the one that's going to benefit you and your career the most.
Yeah. Coco Southampton becomes for Marsh what Palace is to FDB. Well, I mean, right now it's more like Nathan Jones, but or Swansea for Bob. And Coco, I will say this, and this is a point that I've made here on the show a lot. Bob Bradley got screwed at Swansea. Bob Bradley got absolutely screwed. And Jarrett, you've made the point that ever since then, it seems like Bob Bradley has had that chip on his shoulder to try and prove everyone wrong. And he's just going to do things his way to prove that what happened in England should not have happened. And it's more like, wagging his finger at the whole thing going, I'll show you. And so the stubbornness that we've seen with Bob Bradley, I think, is directly tied to what happened at Swansea.
Yeah, I think so too. And you don't want that for Jesse Marsh. Wait, find the right fit for you. Don't just find a fit because it's a fit.
Yeah.
So
and
take your time, bud.
Yeah, I mean, and Coco says Coco says there's no situation where Marsh wouldn't get screwed by Southampton. Because if he took the gig and if he takes the gig and he's there till the end of the season, the 16 or 17 matches that are left, then they stay in the relegation zone, they drop to the championship. Marsh is going to get blamed. If they keep them up, then it'll be, he didn't do enough. It's like we just got out of the relegation zone. Then next season, if they get off to a bad start because Marsh is trying to build something long-term with a different set of players, then they're going to get mad at him next year because he's trying to build with his system with a bunch of guys that some might have been from this season's team. Some might be from guys that he wants to bring in. And then the level of investment that Southampton may or may not have in the Premier League, if they stay up, is going to have a direct correlation to the kind of player that Jesse Marsh wants to do. So I think that if you're Jesse Marsh and Southampton, you want the long-term build, but I doubt very seriously a team that would have just staved off relegation is going to be that patient this year or next. I think Coco's right. But that's I'm fired up this morning about American coaches getting screwed. Sorry. That's
fair. I mean,
that's where I am.
Like I said, it is kind of an annoyance. And it's hard to kind of pin it down, because I think sometimes it's hard to balance out and to be chill about that concept, because at least for me, I don't want to have a full-on defense mechanism of, they're just trying to screw American coaches, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You want the conversation to be deeper than that, to be more than just, I feel like we're getting screwed, so bully to everybody.
Yeah.
You want a why versus a it is happening kind of thing.
Yes, you do. Weather Report has the weather according to Ricky Ricardo. I don't know if it's Ricky's actual weather app or if it's a weather app from someone else that Ricky has. Ricky is reporting that the rain is going to quit between 1 and 2. Reminder, the pregame gathering at Wildleap starts at 3. So we'll keep an eye on that. And that's going to be fun. It's and we've got the event at Wildleap coming up with Garth Lagerway a week from today, I think. So that'll be fun. Coco, no situation where Marsh isn't screwed. Sam, so is Mbappe coming to Manchester United now from his cryptic post? Because if he is, he's going to lose his ish.
I don't blame him. I mean, I don't know if that's happening, but yeah, everybody's gonna freak out.
Yeah, I mean, how it's like I want to leave. I mean, it's depending on your source overseas. And once again, avoid the 3 and the 4 letters, but just because we do, and I'm not going to mention anything from them. But if Mbappe had a cryptic post, I think that it's courting. I think that that's what that is. I don't know if he's going to Manchester United, but if they get a new owner that wants to truly invest, I think that if any kind of a cryptic post from any kind of megastar, that's courting and cruiting. That's what that is. I don't think he's there. I don't think he's there yet, but he might have just been mad about the result yesterday and lashing out on social media and saying that he wants to go to Manchester United or someplace else and get away from PSG. But no, this is if you do something like that, that's courting and cruiting, and we get a lot of that in the Southeast.
Yeah, because it's funny because they do cruiting in Europe, obviously. It ain't the same kind of cruiting.
No.
And y'all realize what England would the degree to which England could not handle Urban Meyer.
Oh dear.
Like Urban Meyer rolled into Ohio State and said, "We're doing things SEC style," and it was just surprised Pikachu memes for miles around.
Then that's and oh yeah, we gotta discuss the alleged new takeover buyer for Spurs as a part of this. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the alleged new buyers for Manchester United, it's QIA, not QSI. It is the parent company, not the offshoot that owns PSG. It's the Qataris. It's not the Qatari Sports Investment. It's the parent company that's interested in Manchester United, allegedly, possibly, probably, maybe. Bird App guy is apparently interested as well. I don't know if he would pass the owner's standards and practices test, considering the net loss of the Bird App financially in the last year. And then you've got Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and
he would be hitting up NBC complaining that his team is being put on Peacock as opposed to NBC.
True. So you've got all of that. Spurs. Let me get into Spurs. Sean will take Mbappe at Spurs. I could definitely see that. But could Mbappe and Kane coexist? That's the question. I'm sure they would find a way. Financial Times. Billionaire Jamna Jaffe is set to launch a $3.75 billion bid for Spurs. So Iranian-American billionaire Jamna Jaffe preparing the bid, according to 2 people with direct knowledge of the plan. And this is from Srivastava, Ajini, Masudi, and Indap at the Financial Times. 4 authors for the article. Najafi, who is the chair of MSP Sports Capital, is working with a consortium of investors to structure the bid and is weeks away from formally approaching Spurs owner Joe Louis and the football club's chair Daniel Levy, the people said. Najafi and the MSP-led offer would value the club's equity at approximately $3 billion before adding about $750 million of debt on the club's books. The bid is structured so MSP and the partners will put forward 70% of the purchase price, while backers from the Gulf, mainly from the Gulf, mainly Abu Dhabi, would contribute the remaining 30%. Takeover of Spurs could mean it spends more to challenge in the Premier League. ENIC, a vehicle connected to Bahamas-based billionaire Lewis and Chair Levy, bought into Spurs in 2000, buying a 26% stake from Lord Alan Sugar for $21.9 million. Praised for shrewd financial management, construction of a new stadium, regular qualification for Champions League, but Spurs fans have been increasingly frustrated by the lack of trophies, leading to recent protests against the ownership. The Najafi-led group's interest in the football club extends to real estate and development rights that are available through its ownership. Spurs have played in a modern stadium since 2019. Najafi is the latest U.S. billionaire to seek to join the ranks of the Premier League. Bowley Clear Lake, we mentioned them. Bill Foley and Bournemouth. Okay, so Najafi's investments. Here we go. McLaren Racing, X Games, spoke no English when he moved from Iran to the U.S. at the age of 12, learned the language by watching a lot of TV, according to the MSP. Minority owner of the Phoenix Suns. And MSP has an investment in McLaren and has stakes in football clubs in Belgium, Spain, and Portugal. Reported revenues of Spurs jumped almost 25% for the fiscal year ending June 22 because of what happened with everybody being able to come back after COVID. So Jam Najafi and MSP look like they are $3.75 billion in the kitty, trying to possibly, probably, maybe buy Spurs coming down the line.
All right.
Yes, exactly. So Sam, looking at Manchester United, Marcus Rashford and Mbappe together, mother of God.
See, I'm sorry. I'm in my brain. I'm just like it is partially because I don't follow the English level of things as much as other people do, but my degree of give a damn slips mightily when it's just a bunch of billionaires and dick measuring contests, and I can only donate so much of my brain to giving a damn about dick measuring contests between billionaires.
Oh, I mean, biggest thing for me is just go in a room, close the door, get rulers out.
Yeah, here's the ruler. Y'all come out. One of you be crying, one of you be smiling, and then we'll know. And then you just saved everyone a lot of time.
Yes. Let's see. So Coco says that there is a non-zero chance Marsh gets courted by Ryan Reynolds for Wrexham with a question mark attached. Oh, is there? Is there a non-zero chance Marsh gets courted by Ryan Reynolds for Wrexham? I mean, Phil Parkinson's done a good job so far. I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah,
they seem like they're doing just fine.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the National League right now, and it's them and Notts County chasing after the automatic bid.
Also, I think that going from managing getting a team promoted from the Championship to the Premier League, or I'm sorry, getting a team sustaining, avoiding demotion, relegation, right, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
Avoiding relegation, being a team that avoided relegation to managing Wrexham is a drop that, again, an American manager does not need on their resume.
Yeah, right. Right now, Wrexham, they play Aldershot, who's currently 13th in the table.
Wrexham damn near killed him.
Yeah. Aldershot is at 38 points, almost half the points that Wrexham has right now. Wrexham, 30 matches, 72 points, and they are 2 matches in hand to Notts County for the automatic promotion spot to League Two right now. So we have 16 matches left for Wrexham, only 14 left for Notts County. Wrexham's behind by 5 points and a goal difference of plus 50. They've only lost twice in 30 matches this year with a record of 22-6-2. And there is a gulf between Notts County, Wrexham, and your third place team, who's currently Woking or Walking. I don't know. It's Woking. I'm guessing it's Woking. 14-point difference between Wrexham and Woking in 2 and 3 before you get into everybody else fighting for the playoffs. So Phil Parkinson's done a great job so far. So I don't know. I don't know if you would sit there and say, Phil, you got us promoted back into the fourth flight of English football. You got us into League Two. Thanks, but no thanks.
For what it's worth, I'm pretty sure that's happened before, though.
Oh, no doubt.
Like where someone's gotten the job done, and then management went, you know what? Thanks for all you did. You're gonna go with somebody else now. Now that you got us on top of the mountain,
we need more experience.
Not to the top of the mountain, I should say. Thanks for getting us to base camp. We're gonna let someone else take it from here to get to the summit.
Yes. So thanks for all that you've done and taking us to the next.
Oh, and I agree, Coco, about the publicity side of it. My thing is, especially if we're talking about like American managers, like getting and gaining any respect in England. Now, whether or not we care about that is a different story.
Right.
Him going from Leeds down to Wrexham, even though it's a fun story, I think it would look like. I think it would give a lot of ammunition.
Oh,
To the Grumps.
he would only take the job at Wrexham. He can't get a job anyplace else. So
he had to get a job from an American owner, American celebrity owner, no less.
Yes, exactly. So, I would love it if Marsh would embrace that project and take them wherever they needed to go. But
well, yes, I am struggling with hostility towards the English. Why do you ask?
Yeah, but that Marsh would get ished on so much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He could only get a job in the National League after getting fired at Leeds. See that coming from either grumpy, middle-aged pundit or former player pundit if that was to happen. Absolutely it would happen.
It'd be cool as hell if he got him promoted, though, and whoever does it. Like, it'd be cool whoever does it. Like, just like flies them up through the pyramid.
Absolutely,
be awesome.
Absolutely, it would.
Because again, and we'll drill this home again. You're allowed to like Wrexham and MLS. You're allowed to like what's going on there and what's going on here, or USL, or NPSL, or TBD, whatever it might be, whatever league it is you have in your heart. You're allowed to like more than one thing. I realize that this is, an unprecedented amount of information for some people on the Bird app. You're allowed to like more than one thing. You can enjoy what's going on in Wrexham and still enjoy what you're watching with, an MLS or USL or NPSL or NISA, whatever the hell it is.
Absolutely,
you can like all of those things at once. You don't have to just pick sides. Promise.
No, you don't. Sam, back to Spurs quickly. Surprised they didn't get bailed to come and play out of retirement. They might sign him to a one-day contract, do one of those ceremonial things, and have him come out and he gets his tribute match or whatever. Speaking of lower divisions, Abby's in. The two schedules rumored to be out soon. MLS tends to be late. Here they're working hard to make sure it's not conflicting with first teams. Abby is saying that she heard most games will be Sundays since the first team's mostly on Saturdays. So, obviously we're keeping an eye on that. Keeping an eye on our friend Jack Collison. So if you missed that interview, that's on the network, catching up with him. And on your favorite podcatcher as well. It was great to see what he's up to up there in Huntsville at Hunt City FC, tied to Nashville. And he's got some familiar names from USL Championship too. Nicky Law is there as a coach. I
saw that. It's like a player coach.
Yeah, John Berner is in net as the goalkeeping coach. You got
Nicky Law in this economy.
Yeah, that will be really interesting. On the Sadliati, who's from League One, we know him from there. Is in Huntsville. Bolaños is there as well. One of the Bolaños brothers is there as a part of it. So it'll be fun to see this build and to see the kind of cross pollination that you get from Nashville at the same time. But yeah. So Abby hears most of the games in Next Pro will be Sunday since most of the teams, first teams, are on Saturday. You got to keep an eye on that on Season Pass as well because all the Next Pro stuff is going to be there too. And it'll be fun to see how Next Pro gets rolled out, but no real details yet on scheduling or anything like that. Yeah, and Coco, it would be fantastic to see Wrexham fly up the pyramid. Sam is absolutely correct, Jared. The Brits are salty about their tea. Still, much like you and your salt with Brits.
I mean,
Brits are still salty.
It's nothing more than the fact that, like, yeah, the EPL is the tops. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't. It's not a homogenous collection of just the English, though. Don't know why they decided that Americans have to be potentially kept out of their little club, or what the hell, like why it had to happen that way. But that's what we're dealing with, I guess.
Interesting. Okay. Man, I keep forgetting to download the breaking news sound. Yeah. Speaking of Hunt City, burned. If Jack Collison gets to pick his roster, he'll win a lot. And that's going, like I said, it's going to be fun to analyze that. Apparently, and this is the question. Fabrizio Romano, a couple hours ago. Julian Araujo to Barcelona. Here we go. Mexican right back will travel tomorrow to Barcelona. Deal finally done after crazy deadline saga, signing a contract until June 2026. Deal agreed with LA Galaxy for a bit less than €4 million total package. It's done.
How is it done? I thought it couldn't get done.
That's what I'm saying. And we're all trying to figure this out. So, and like this is live diving in to try to figure out how this happened.
You're going to have to do it without me, but I mean, unfortunately.
Okay, all right, okay.
But good luck, because I was told it wasn't going to. Ask Bart. Bart will have snarky comments about it. I trust him.
Absolutely. But Julian Araujo arriving in Barcelona Thursday to start training with the Catalan club. Thank you, Jared. We'll see you tomorrow. While he okay, here's how it happens. This is from Marsden and Urenz at ESPN+. Awaits a resolution from CAS to decide if he can play this season. So that's the fine print. So he's going to arrive in Barcelona to start training while he awaits the resolution from CAS to decide if he can play this season. Struck the agreement. Paperwork required to be registered, missed by 18 seconds. Barca blamed a computer error for the delay in processing the documentation and have appealed FIFA's decision to CAS. In the meantime, Araujo's contract with Barca is active. Flying to the city Thursday, plan for him to train with Barca B, playing the Spanish third tier pending a resolution. It remains unclear. And here we go. Yeah, Marsden and Urenz say this. It remains unclear what will happen if CAS do not rule in Barca's favor. One option is for him to train until the summer without a chance of playing any football till next season, while LA Galaxy manager Greg Vanney told ESPN last week the organization remained in discussions with the defender about possibly being loaned back. Vanney, quote, "There are some tricky pieces to this. We have to continue to consider ourselves in moving forward. At the same time, we want to be able to help Jules out and give him the best opportunity to keep moving forward as well," end quote. While he will start with Barca's reserve team, the idea is for him to be around first team if and when needed. Xavi Sider without a natural right back after Hector Bellerin joined Sporting Club in January. Jules Koundé is playing there, but the Frenchman prefers to play at center back. Sergio Roberto, Ronald Araujo, and Alejandro Balde have also played the role this season. So there you go. That's where you are. And so that's the how. Basically, they agreed to terms. So Araujo's going over. He's going overseas. He's going to go party and hang out with Barcelona. He's going to train with them while they're waiting for CAS to come up with a decision. And then if CAS decides that computer error in 18 seconds, a dog ate my homework for 20 seconds isn't a good enough defense, then they'll figure it out. So there you go. So we'll see what happens. So we'll see. So €4 million there, €4 million. There you go. Here we go. And so Julian Araujo heading over to Barca. So we'll keep an eye on that. Emilio, Brits are salty because they realize their managers are crap. Couldn't bear seeing an American being successful. Yeah, you got that. UEFA transfer windows are apparently as movable as MLS, according to Coco. I think that this is a retroactive pending deal for review by CAS is probably how to best phrase it. It still happened in the window, but they decided to pursue this deal anyway. They really wanted Julian Araujo, and we're going to stick with this, and we're going to appeal to Cass. We really want him. So that's your answer, I guess. Coco, you just went from an MLS starter to a Spanish third division, but I mean it's Barca, and I think that that's what Julian's looking at here. Barca's interested, yeah, and Ricky, I don't either. I'm right there with you. I don't know what Barca can afford anymore. They can afford apparently €4 million to bring in Julian Araujo, but we don't know. We don't know the terms. We don't know if it's on the wimpy scale or not. I'll pay you €4 million Tuesday for Julian Araujo today. So we don't know what the terms are, but so yeah, apparently Julian Araujo is heading overseas while they await the appeal from Cass. So that's how that ended up with that. But yeah, Ricky, they could have maybe recalled Serginho Dest, but once again, Coco, right there with you, probably couldn't have afforded the recall. Abby saw that about sad story about one of the boys that was pulled from the cave in 2018, passed away after like a week's worth of surgeries, apparently. On Jack, burnt. Really wish they would have made him an assistant coach for the first team so he would have stayed in the club. Maybe he will be back one day. So, and yeah, so like I said, it's going to be fun for us to continue to keep an eye on Jack and look at the build at Hunt City and see what Jack has in mind for that club. You know, he gets the chance to build something from the ground up in a way that he wants. And so it'll be really cool to see what's going on in Hunt City and see what Jack is going to try to build there. So, yeah, MLS Next Pro, will keep an eye on that when the schedule comes out. And as Abby said earlier this morning, it looks like most of the games for the twos will be on Sundays because first teams are on Saturday. So we'll see what happens there. It is past 10 o'clock. So what we will do is go ahead and cut our promo, which means I've got to find the music, take it out of loop. 12 yesterday as a level was loud. Traditionally, like I said, I always try to have it at like 10, 11, or 12. 12 in my ears yesterday, and I haven't adjusted my headset ever. It's like I've got my levels. I know what they are. I know what I need to do to talk. But 12 yesterday on a scale of 1 to 100, and they start me at 50, and I go all the way down to 12. Seemed a little loud, so I'm going to try and see what happens. So we'll take it down to, let's say 11. All right, we're at 11. We're going to hit the rock button and read our promo. For odor-free, clean, fresh air, one place you need to go. It's the Lemonize service. QR code over my left shoulder for those of you watching on Twitch. Lemonize deodorizes enclosed spaces like houses, apartments, and condos. It's created a customized solution that eliminizes all organic odors, including those like pet cigarettes and food. Realtors and property managers use the Lemonize service to eliminate bad odors to help them sell or rent their homes that much faster. It's a turnkey process. Makes it easy to work with realtors and property managers. Kind to the environment. We like that. Offering a green way to get rid of odors without any kind of toxic residue whatsoever. Different than Febreze or other masking agents that you may have either above you in the cupboard or beneath you under your sink, because when you reach under the sink or when you reach above you into the cupboard, you pull out that masking agent, you spray it in the air. There's a reason they call it a masking agent. It's masking the odor. It's not attacking the problem all the way down to the molecule like our friends at Lemonize do with their proven scientific formula. Pricing one of two ways, either by the cubic foot or parts per million, to come up with a price that's affordable for you. If you have any questions, frequently asked or otherwise, one thing you need to do is go to their website. This is where I grab my pen and ask a favor. Website's thelemonize.com, but after the .com goes /Atlanta, so they know what part of the world that you are reaching out to them from, so they know where you are and help you attack your problems. Full homework assignment. ELIMINIZE.com /Atlanta, lemonize.com /Atlanta for odor-free, clean, fresh air. Lemonize service, proud sponsors of everything SDH on a match day wall pass Wednesday. We'll fade the music. See, there's no real soft fade. You try to lower the music down and it just it's like it hits a level and then it slams to the second level and it slams down. So I'm trying to figure out what a good level is to have that music behind us and being able to read a promo at the top of the hour. And of course, we've been doing this for Week and not a week and a half. I'm trying to figure out like 7-8 months now, trying to figure out a good level, which always seems to confuse. So we'll see. Hour number 2. Obviously, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Mikel Arteta's mad with VAR. We've got VAR in general and the PGMOL making decisions and assignments. Okay, so you didn't hear the music at 11, but it's too loud at 12. I'm confused. I have no idea. We'll try 12 and see what happens again tomorrow, because 11 is one less than 12, and you didn't hear it. That's just weird. Okay. All right. So we start hour number 2. Once again, thanks to everybody who's and that was, and I did Ricky, I did too in my ears. Kind of heard it faintly, but like I said, that was 11. All right. So you guys have me here. All right. So I'm gonna try something. All right. We're gonna do a music test before we get into the other stuff here in hour number 2. All right. So this is 12. That's 12. All right, that's 12. I'll show you the difference between 12 and 11. That's 11. Give it a second. Is it like it has to reset itself? That's 11. That was faint compared to that. Right? 12 should be full now. Yeah, so that's 12. I don't know. I'm thoroughly confused. I have no clue. All right. There you go. That's the difference between 11 and 12 on the levels here on the board. So I have no idea. Yes. So here we go. All right. So the responses to the audio test. All right. Okay. So 11 was it was one notch. Seriously, it was. That was one notch from 12 to 11. That's what it was. Abby, me and computers. Yes, Abby says my computer has a problem. Is it the computer or is it the program? Is it the board that we're playing with here? That's what we're looking at. I say I don't know. Yeah, it is. It's like an on-off switch. 12 was loud, 11 was silent. That's crazy. All right, that is absolutely crazy. Yeah, something needs calibrating. I need calibrating. Wow. Okay. 12 and 11. All right. Hour number 2. And yes. Absolutely, I am technically challenged. But yes, Nix. Yes. Spinal Tap, 11, way loud because it's one more than 10. Absolutely. This is something we should all live by. That Spinal Tap taught us that 11 was one more than 10. And that's where your amps should go. Your amps need to go to 11. You come by on Friday, fix my QR code problem. Yeah, well, Will, it goes to like 100, and 100 would blow us all out and probably bust the program. Any questions you guys have? And it's great that you guys are having the conversation that you are about tonight. Like I said, according to the Ricky Ricardo weather app, looks like the weather is going to pass us by 1 or 2. Wild Leap opens at 3. Abby, I'm just going by the volume that they tell me. I'm literally going by the volume that they tell me. 12, 11. I mean, me talking over it, might distort it one way or the other. That's why I tried not to talk. It's like, there's the Hasetsu joke. Okay. Emilio gets the Hasetsu joke in today. Yeah, I probably could, Will. I could probably shoot down a Chinese balloon with an 80. No, there's not an 11.5. Oh, I know that it's a computer user problem, Abby. Come on now. Somewhere in there. But, man, once again, any thoughts that you guys have about the match today, about the the whole thing? What's your concerns? What's your anticipations? What you want to see happen? All the stuff that when you walk in the building and you're getting ready to see what's going on, Abby wants some gelling. Players working together. Yeah, I mean, you're looking for those. You're looking for those kinds of relationships, and you want to see where those relationships are. Weather tomorrow in Alabama, Will, is not going to be fun. Abby wants to see finishing, definitely, from a Chope Chol. I would say that you're looking for him to put the ball in the back of the net. We've seen him, saw him early in camp on the left, and saw him at the 9. And so, the fact that he can do both of those positions is stuff that Gonzalo Pineda likes, but you've got to see the finishing from Machope at the 9. You've got to see him up top. You've got to see him finish. That's part of this too. Let's see. Knicks, no Brad Miles. Any word on any other injured players? Let's see. Don't know anything about Ozzy and Etienne. Sosa, once again, since he's not going to be available for the first 2 matches. They did the same thing with Alan Franco last year, remember? Where if he wasn't going to be involved in the first 2 matches, you tried to figure out, okay, how to hit the ground running with the relationships and the players that are there. So it's probably something that'll be laid out in the thought pattern. So we'll see. By the way, since it is hour number 2, and he split the difference, well done. Traditionally 10:30, but because I put out the bat signal early because Dylan Butler's doing MLS soccer stuff, this guy has come in 15 minutes early, and we always thank him for it. And we're gonna try technology, Abby. So here we go. Beat 2, 3, 4. Bart Keeler. So you've got the mug. Or so does the mug match the jersey, sir? Are they both Arsenals? Yes. Okay, there we go.
Yes,
Arsenal. All right. Traditionally for your Wednesday visit, there's plenty to talk about. And I guess you want to start with Atlanta United and what you're hunting for with Atlanta United tonight?
Yeah. I think if I remember correctly, the reports are that Miles and Brad won't play. Right. So I'm sure there are some other guys who are a little bit injured who won't play. Maybe we get to see Derek Etienne Jr. for the first time. That would be probably my biggest goal, is to see him. I don't really have any expectations. It's a preseason friendly with a squad that'll probably be more incomplete than complete.
There's a cup here, sir.
There's a cup involved. You have to defend, but yeah. I mean, I don't also. I'm not expecting too much from the team, but I want the players who are on the field to look like they're ready to go for next Saturday. I think that's the goal. They need to be as close to actual match fitness and match sharpness as they possibly can be.
Yep, and you've also got to juggle that with the idea that you're going to be in a behind closed doors match with St. Louis City SC. And so, you're looking at this match today, that match on the weekend. How do I, if Doug is reporting no Miles, no Brad, you're probably thinking, okay, I want them for 90 against St. Louis City. I feel like I have to do that in all caps, because if they do it in all caps, we have to do it in all caps. But
I have so many problems with the branding of that club. I don't have time. It's so bad, John. City itself being capitalized is like the pinnacle of this just self-importance that all MLS clubs seem to have.
Okay.
But ours isn't red, it's City red. No, it's magenta. Shut up. Just be normal and use red.
That's not a red. That's a magenta, man.
It's so dumb. It's pink. It's pink. It's magenta.
Well,
it's magenta.
Tormenta magenta. So then City has to be pink. Yeah.
Well, City is definitely more of a magenta than it's more on that red side, right?
Okay.
Magenta is that between red and pink color. It's definitely more on the red side, but it is a shade of magenta, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's not pink like Miami or like Ford Madison, but it's not red. It's
No.
certainly not red.
No. No. So I'm thinking that if you see folks tonight for, and I'll put this in quotation marks, limited minutes, it's because they're looking forward to St. Louis City and the match weekend to get them 90 minutes match fit by the time they're back here for San Jose on the 25th. So that was one of the things that I wanted to put in the timeline with you this morning. The other first thing that I wanted to talk about with you in the timeline is the Canada soccer situation. And I figured that I was going to be dialing up that response and trying to figure out. Yes, I know that Jarrett has already earned today's show the explicit button, but I know that your response to the Canada soccer situation is going to reinforce the explicit button this morning.
It is. First off, let's take it from the top of Canada soccer from just an organizational standpoint, right? They've had issues with their men's team, with payment structure, with representation, with financial support. Like, I think that's the biggest thing that I want to say about this is the women, though they somehow haven't been paid in a year, John, which is inconceivable to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not even mad about that so much as they're mad about the whole financial support they're getting. It seems like Canada soccer, for as much as they want to talk about how they're the kings of CONCACAF on the men's side because they did well in qualifying, have no idea how to run a soccer organization. When the women's team won a gold medal in 2021, they have played 5 friendlies since then.
Mm-hmm.
Only 5. You think about U.S. soccer, they play friendlies every other month if they can. They play 2. That plus the fact that they put so much time and effort into the men's program last year, which I understand. Don't get me wrong. I get that, you were focused on World Cup qualifying and the World Cup. But they were unable to clearly walk and chew gum at the same time because it seems like they just forgot that they had the women's team. They sent them down to Mexico last summer, and that was about all they actually did for them.
Janine Becky, quote, Christine Sinclair, they had a presser yesterday. Christine Sinclair says, as a team, we're at our wits' end.
Mm-hmm.
This could be our most important fight that we ever have as national team players. It's one we're determined to win. Janine Becky, it's pretty disgusting, this is from TSN, that we're having to ask just to be treated equally. It's a fight that women all over the world have to partake in every single day, but quite frankly, we're really sick of it. And it's something that now I don't even get disappointed by anymore. I just get angry about because it's time. It's 2023. We won the damn Olympic Games, and we're about to go to the World Cup with a team who could win. So we expect to be prepared in the best way possible to go and win a World Cup. The 6th-ranked Canadian women, upset that their grievances have not been addressed by their governing body, Down Tools, Friday night said they would not take part in SheBelieves, but they reluctantly returned when Canada Soccer threatened legal action against them on Saturday. They'll play SheBelieves in protest, boycott the next international window unless progress is made. Sinclair said the team is still talking about any planned protest on the field for Thursday, and she says that she thinks that there will be something. So Sinclair has not been told why cuts are happening in budgets and things like that. And so you're chasing players away as well in all of this. You've got this is about as close to an ish storm. And the thing is that it's been one for a while. I mean,
right. And I think that's where I just keep going back to is like the women and men. I want to continue to reiterate that the men have also had their issues with Canada soccer, but the women specifically have had these issues clearly since before 2021. I mean, y'all, Canada soccer hasn't even found a way to put together a true women's league in their country.
Yep.
it is so like we complain about U.S. soccer all the time, but like they blow Canada soccer out of the water when it comes to professionalism. And again, I was having this conversation with some friends earlier, actually at the Super Bowl party. We're all women's soccer fans, and to us it's just it's so insane that Canada soccer, in a country that is supposed to be also one of the more well-run and organized countries in this region, somehow continues to be so amateur. Like just it's sad. I think again the issue comes down to the fact that for me, despite what the Canada men's team did during qualifying, which was fine, whatever, good, you did well in qualifying. You proceeded to fall flat on your face in the World Cup. The Canadian women's team has been their shining star since they started. They hosted the World Cup on their own in 2015, finished third in 2019, won the gold medal in 2020 Olympics. It's not like they haven't been able to rise to any sort of level of notice. Like they've been a premier team, and their players have been playing for some of the. I mean, their players. You have Christine Sinclair, the top goal scorer all time in women's international football. You have Kadisha Buchanan, who plays for Lyon and has won Champions League titles there. You have Ashley Lawrence right now, who's finalist for the FIFA Pro Best 11. You have Becky and Hudema, who have been working really hard in European leagues. You have Schmidt. I mean, all these players who have been big names wherever they've gone, both domestically here with NWSL and then also in Europe. It's the fact that they haven't been able to support them in any way. And again, I just go back to the fact I cannot fathom, John, how they haven't been paid, how a single player hasn't been paid a single dollar for their work in a whole year. How? What are you doing? Can't you just? This is the other thing. Okay, sorry. The rants are coming in. I'm sorry.
Hey, that's what Wall Pass Wednesday's about, brother.
John, I mean, you and I saw the ticket prices for U.S. soccer for World Cup qualifying. Obviously, Canada soccer didn't charge that much, but you're talking about selling out Edmonton, which is a 40,000 seat stadium, if I'm correct. You're talking about selling out the Donut Box, which is 25-ish, almost 30,000. You've got a 28,000 seater in Toronto. You've got a 50,000 seater in Vancouver. Places these places where they're able to put matches and make a lot of money if they just charge $20 to $40 a ticket, which is what I think they were charging. So you had a lot of money that you just came into because of World Cup qualifying. You had 7 home matches.
Where did the money go?
Where'd that money, right, John? Where'd that money go? On top of the money you just got from the World Cup. Because again, as we know, not all that earnings goes to the men's team or the individual players. That goes to Canada Soccer itself. And just because Canada Soccer made the World Cup, even though they managed to win 0 games, I'll reiterate, Canada won 0 games at the World Cup. They did score a goal though, so hey, congratulations, you did something. Despite that, they don't have money to pay their players. And again, I'm going to reiterate, the men have also had issues with Canada Soccer. So we're talking about both of their primary teams are somehow unable to get satisfactory compensation or financial support from their federation. Now, I understand, you look at the line items and the amount of money spent on the men's team in 2021 and 22 was high. And I get that because of, obviously, you were talking about now playing in a World Cup qualifying tournament, right? Like you're going to spend more money because you have to travel more.
Right.
But they're not even close to being like equitable. And so I just got to know, Canada Soccer, where is that money going? Because you just came into a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you have the president of CONCACAF who's Canadian.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
If you're short some money, surely that man could figure out a way to put some Gold Cup games or the CONCACAF Nations League final up in your country. Don't pretend like you couldn't make some money off of that just by having those connections.
Hey, what you've done so far, if you're Canada Soccer, you've chased away Sophie Schmidt.
Yep.
She's retiring from international football after the World Cup. And
I mean, to be fair, I think Schmidt and Sinclair may have made that decision regardless, but this seems to have been spurred on by all of this.
Yeah. And the thought is that you could be damaging things long term. Schmidt said the women's youth program has only one camp scheduled for this year, quote, and that is for all age groups. Quinn says the lack of youth investment will cost Canada on the field in the near future with all this stuff going on.
Yep. And that's something that, as much as I don't particularly like her and her commentary style, but Kaylin Kyle mentioned a lot of times on the Paramount Plus coverage of the CONCACAF W Championship last summer is Canada Soccer had an opportunity to really take that gold medal win, invest in the women's program, and become what could have been. Look, we talk about the U.S. has a foothold on in women's soccer. Canada does too. Like they are right up there with some of the best teams to have ever to consistently play at the women's international level. Right? You just said they were 6th in the world. They're reigning gold medal champions. They have multiple third place finishes throughout their time. Canada Soccer refuses to actually support them. Again, they don't have a women's domestic league. Not even a women's Canadian Premier League. They don't even have that. They don't have a whole lot of women's youth camps, even though, how else are these girls supposed to develop?
Yeah.
They're barely clearly putting on, friendlies for their women's team. Again, you had the gold medalists. You couldn't put together a 3-window friendly series at home. Surely you could have got some teams to go and play in Canada. I mean, you put them in Toronto, you put them in Montreal, you put them in Edmonton. You're talking about, a total of, at that point, almost 80,000 people that hopefully come watch your women's team play. You charge them $20 to $30, $40 a ticket. That's a lot of money that can go directly to this women's program. So I mean, I am at a loss of how I'm not going to talk about the labor negotiations themselves because I'm not privy to all these conversations, right? But I'm just at a loss of how Canada Soccer doesn't have the ability to financially support this team,
Yeah, I mean, you got Canada Soccer Business, and they get their cut, and that deal is being raked over the coals because the national team cut this deal. CSB gets their portion, and then it could be more, and it's like it's capped, and then it's the idea of revenue is something that requires a deep dive in all of this. But how you can and looking at it strictly on its face, how can you not pay your players for an entire year? How can you not do that? I mean, that's
my question, John.
I give the national players so much credit for sticking it out in these situations and still giving the results that they are. I mean, it's like, damn the torpedoes. This really sucks, but we're going to do this for our country and we're going to show you. And they still come out the other side with all of the results and the accolades and trophies and everything.
Yeah.
And seriously, they're all MVPs to me. It's unfathomable to me. It's like, it's like almost like Wimpy is running your revenue streams. It's like, for playing, it's like I'll pay you Tuesday if you play today, and they keep kicking the can down the road and keep kicking the can down the road. Man, I would charge interest for not getting paid in 22. I mean, no way.
I'm with you, John. Like I mean, it is, again, just incredibly dumbfounding, the lack of just professionalism from Canada Soccer regarding this. And again, you've got a women's team that has been so good for a long period of time. I'll again reiterate. They played 5 matches in Canada. The women's team did in 2022. Only 5 matches in Canada. Obviously, they had the CONCACAF Women's Championship. They played in the Arnold Clark Cup. They played a couple of friendlies down in Australia. But then Canada Soccer decided to do friendlies in Spain last year instead of at home. So are you even trying to make money to support these women? Is what I go back to.
Yeah, and CSB is trying to start a PR campaign. And yesterday, their CEO, who doubles as the CEO of Canadian Soccer Business and commissioner of the Canadian Premier League, says probably we haven't done a good job of telling people what CSB is all about, the ways that we're contributing to the growth of soccer in Canada and the investments that we've made. It's time for us to do a better job of telling our story in a very transparent way. From Canadian Press, CSB essentially markets Canada's soccer product via the broadcast and sponsorship agreements, pays the governing body a set amount each year, with the rest helping fund the Canadian Premier League. I think it's $3 million a year that goes. That's your flat fee that goes to the national team, and then the rest helps fund the CPL. Under fire in the last couple of weeks, Canada Soccer's principal revenue streams have been in large part diverted to CSB to the benefit of the owners of the Canadian Premier League for the for-profit minor league professional soccer teams. It said in reference to the Canadian Premier League, which is now in the 5th season. How Canada Soccer is allocating or using funds is unclear and cloaked in secrecy, according to the men's national team. CSB issued a rare public statement, said its investors, the owners of the 8 CPL teams, have invested close to $100 million in the development of the game. No investor has ever taken a distribution, offered several times over the past year, and as recently as last month to provide incremental resources to Canada Soccer. They want to be an ally for the success of the national teams. The offer included encouraging Canada Soccer to hold a send-off series for the women's team on home soil ahead of the World Cup and helping develop revenue sources to provide additional training resources. So it sounds like to me that CSB, with this public persona that they now have starting yesterday, looks like they're almost trying to throw Canada Soccer under the bus.
Yeah. So I mean, this is where I'm a little unsure. Is CSB similar to some, or is it?
It's probably a good.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, they have again. I'm appreciative of the fact that they're not greedy and price gouging for their fans. Thank you, Canada Soccer, for not being U.S. Soccer in that regard. But clearly there's a demand to watch this team. Clearly there's a demand from both teams to have more financial support. Not just even at the senior national team level, but at youth team levels. Again, they are clearly helping with the Canadian Premier League. They need a women's domestic league.
And it took Sinclair basically shoehorning a press conference to sit there and say, we're going to do it.
Yeah. It's sad because, again, you have the leading scorer in all of women's and men's, for that matter, international football in your federation, and you can't seem to give her support.
Yeah. Bern, you're spot on. CSB is trying to be like some, but they're late to the game. Don't think they have the TV rights package. Some had it. No, they don't. Because the TV rights package, I think it's in combination with One Soccer, and you'll get some other TSN Sportsnet kinds of things, but it's very, very, very low when it comes to that kind of revenue. CSB reduced more than $1 million in direct bottom line television production expense in addition to the guarantee. Yeah, $3 to $4 million a year. Canada Soccer gets it from CSB. The representation agreement with Canada Soccer was for a 10-year term. Noonan says it could last a further 5 years via a possible extension. So, yeah, CSB said that May the presentation last July to the women's team, offering direct dialogue there to see how we can ally and use resources to be able to make sure that they have what they need to be successful on the field. The men's national team is pissed off at Canada Soccer, and they're also pissed off at CSB because it's like, where's the money? Literally, where's this money that you guys keep talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. And again, John, I go back to the fact that you have the president of CONCACAF who hails from your country.
Victor
That if you were really that short on money, he could be like, hey, actually, you know what? We're going to put some Gold Cup matches in Canada this summer.
Raise
revenue.
revenue.
Done that in 2021. Could have said, hey, the Nations League final, putting it in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, would I have loved that? No. You know, Canada should try to make a Gold Cup final or a Nations League final first. But, you know, it could have been done, and you can always throw it under the guise of, oh, well, they need it to prepare for the World Cup in 2026. I mean, there's that. So I don't know.
Yeah. Since we're talking about women's soccer, SheBelieves, what are you looking at for SheBelieves Cup?
Well, look, I think Vlatko's proven that he might be in a little over his head when it comes to managing the women's national team. But I think there were some good improvements in that New Zealand series of friendlies. We saw a slight formation tweak that allowed, I think it gave support to our defensive midfielders. It allowed our center backs to actually find passes into the midfield by just dropping a midfielder next to that defensive midfielder. I would like to see that continue. I don't want to see Taylor Korniak at the 6. I'm very frustrated by Vlatko for forcing this when we have legitimate defensive midfielder options. I don't really think Korniak provided anything great at that position. But, you know, we do have to have someone who can back up Andy Sullivan. But I don't want to see that. I'm really disappointed that Sam Coffey or Jalen Howell or any of the other defensive midfielders that exist in NWSL aren't also playing called up for this camp. But I think there were some positives from the New Zealand friendlies. We scored in multiple ways. We weren't just crossing the ball in. I would like to see if we can continue to do that against teams that are, you know, better than New Zealand. Because the caveat is you were not only just playing New Zealand, which is not as highly rated, but also their backups and sometimes backups of their backups. So now that you're playing, you know, teams that are all within, I think, the top 10, you know, you're going to actually have some opportunities to see a quality opposition on the other side.
So as you handicap SheBelieves, what are you what do you think is going to go down here? Is it if I was wearing my red, white, and blue kit, if I was wearing my USA kit, how optimistic should I be about the U.S. winning SheBelieves?
Well, I mean, I still think that they're the best team out there, like especially in this tournament. Canada's very good, but they're clearly going through some stuff right now.
Yeah.
Japan, we should be able to beat. They're a very good team, but you know, from just a talent level and everything, I think we have better team. And Brazil, I'm curious how Brazil comes out, because I think that they have a lot of talent. You have Pia Sundhage, who has kind of reshaped how she even coaches after she came down to Brazil, looking at soccer from a different light. But again, I think the U.S. is by far the best team in this field. They should win. We'll see how that actually shakes out tomorrow, especially against a team that I think is going to be their toughest challenge. That I don't know how this Canada team is going to come out there. I really don't. And
they could be angry as hell, dude.
Yeah. I mean, they obviously the last time these two teams met, US beat Canada, and I think thoroughly outplayed Canada. I know some people like to talk about how Canada should have won that game, and I think that's absolute trash. US was a better team that night and outplayed them holistically down there in Monterrey. But Canada has beaten the US recently, which is something they hadn't done in like almost 2 decades. So, you know, last time Canada, up until the Olympics, last time Canada beat the US, an Atlanta soccer legend, Charmaine Hooper, was still playing for them. So, you know, that is, that's something that they can hang their hat on still. It's going to be tough. And again, I think that you're going to have to see from the U.S. women a concerted effort to play at the intensity that's going to be required to win matches like this.
Couple of questions.
Vern, I don't want to talk about Arsenal women right now. I'm so disappointed in them.
Could really use one of the American wingers. Even when Mead and Miedema come back, they looked bad against City.
Yeah, I think that we legitimately could have used. I don't know. I would have tried to sign Trinity Rodman, but obviously she costs a lot of money now. Sophia Smith would be great. She's obviously injured right now, so that's not really helpful. But I think any of those players would be really helpful to this Arsenal women's team right now, because we just don't have a lot of pace on the wings, which is really, really unfortunate, especially when you were playing Man City and our midfield was unable to kind of turn from the defensive half to the offensive half. Our midfield was really overwhelmed by City, and having a speedy outlet up top would have been really helpful, but we just don't have that. Yeah, I don't know. I would have liked Sophia Smith or Trinity Rodman come over in this transfer window, but just unfortunately wasn't going to happen.
Question from Ricky: what do you think about the HQ search for the Fed?
I don't understand how it could take so long to find. They said their goal for a sporting director was by the Women's World Cup, which starts, July 21st for the women. So you're looking at July to have a sporting director in. I think that is that's too long of a time. Mm-hmm. It's way too long. In my opinion, you should be able to have a sporting director in by May. You have a consulting group, but if you're Cindy Parlow-Cohen and JT Batson, you should have an idea, despite what Sportsology is going to tell you, how you want this position to be. Ultimately, you're the one who have to make the decision. So you're the ones who need to have the idea of what this sporting director position needs to do. I think that you should have an idea. You've had Ernie Stewart here. His last day is literally today. Surely he's been helping with some of these processes of trying to help a successor. Headquarters is in the. I'll get to that in a second, Ricky.
Yeah.
Point is, the sporting director search should not take that long. I'm okay with taking longer time to find the U.S. men's national team coach, because by waiting till the summer, you're allowing yourself to find coaches who, in that European off season, you may be able to talk to. So from that standpoint, I love it. I think that you can take your time to find the coach, because you want to have your best coach possible, not the best coach available, the best coach possible, who will take the job for you.
Okay. So real estate question. Yeah. I guess it's in two parts. If you had 4.2, would you buy Soccer House up in Chicago? And what do you think?
No, I would not want to own real estate property in Chicago. That city is beautifully fantastic, but cold, and I would not ever want to have to go there.
So then,
in the cold, which I do frequently for family, which sucks.
There you go. So then, what about having the federation here in Atlanta? I think it's a battle between Cary and Atlanta for the new.
I think Atlanta offers you way more opportunity than Cary, North Carolina. Like, if I was going to pitch Atlanta over Cary, Raleigh, it would be that you could have an international city, which Cary and Raleigh are not. A city that has major connecting flights to and from not just Europe, but then other places in the world. Weather that would allow you to play most of the year. Even in January, it might be cold and rainy, but you can build an indoor practice facility now, as well as outdoor practice facilities. You have a stadium right down the road that allows you to play anytime you want, as long as you're okay with playing on turf, which they need to get over a little bit, because we just saw what happened in Phoenix, and not grass isn't always the best.
Yeah.
I think Atlanta would be a great spot for them. It's surprising to me. I did not expect Atlanta to be one of the ones that were targeted, but I also think it speaks a little bit to how great of an international and soccer city Atlanta is. My question is just, where do they build the training facility? It obviously will not be in Atlanta. Like, it won't. You just don't have the space unless you somehow buy the space Microsoft was going to move into.
Southside down by the airport? Make it easy.
That would be the place that I would if we're going to look in Atlanta, I would. I mean, we have I don't know if they would want to give this up, but there's the Georgia Soccer Park, which is down by the city, by the airport, that you could possibly just buy and fix up. And then, obviously US Soccer is use that the whole time. So you can use that still for, I mean, right now I know the games that are played there are mostly high level ECNL and up games anyway. So why not have great facilities for those players? And it gives a little bit more talent ID opportunity for Atlanta based players.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that would be a great opportunity, a great spot for that. And I think maybe if you're going to look in Atlanta, it has to be down by the airport. I just don't know where else you put it. It might have to be out near where they wanted to play. East Atlanta FC, I think, wanted to build something out by Stonecrest.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't be the worst spot to put a fit. Like the land is there, and it's not super far from the airport. So you're not like, it's still Atlanta. You're not worried about getting fans there to watch, necessarily. So, you're not. I don't think this involves a stadium build either. So, it's not like you can't get guys in a van and shuttle them out there. So.
Yeah, for me, if it happens, the Georgia Soccer idea was one that popped into my head.
Yeah.
You take that facility. I mean, it exists. You have all of the fields that are there. You put a roof on one of them, so that way you can have something there, regardless of conditions. Indoor practice facility. You do whatever, how many of those you need, plus the fields that are there. I mean, it made a lot of sense to me to do something like that. But southern part of OTP down by the airport, because of getting in, getting out, really easy. You wouldn't have to be transferring in Charlotte or anything like that to try to get into or anything like, it's like, this is not a knock on Cary. I want to preface this. This is not a knock on Cary, North Carolina.
Oh, I'll knock on Cary. I mean, you're not as big of a city of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yes, I know the soccer history attached to Cary, North Carolina, but I think that Atlanta, for a lot of different reasons, you can sit there and tick off and go convenience, space, availability, all those kinds of things, all those intangibles and all those tangibles that you're staring at are really easy when it comes to figuring out. Well, Silverbacks Park. I don't think you want to train on those welcome mats that are there.
No, and that's not a big enough space to grow. You do have 4 fields, but U.S. Soccer would want more, plus all of they want their headquarters there. Mm-hmm. So right now that space isn't big enough for a physical headquarter building and the training facilities that are going to be more than 4 fields, because you're going to want the headquarters building, you're going to want indoor training facilities, which includes your weight room, your athletic training rooms, which are going to have to be massive for the amount of people you're going to put in there, and then just the whole, the amount of field space you're going to want.
Yeah.
Because you think about what the Atlanta United training ground looks like right now, that would not fit on the footprint of Silverbacks Park. And I'm assuming that U.S. Soccer will want to build something with more fields, because they're going to have more teams training there, likely. I mean, we're talking about, like, this past month, you had a men's training camp, you had a U20 training camp, a U19 training camp, a U17, you had all these training camps going on simultaneously at different spaces around the country. So I think that is the plan for U.S. Soccer, to have a place where, in theory, you would be able to have these January camps and with a centralized location for all these teams to be able to be there. And I understand it's hard to do that in a country of the size, where you have not just the amount of space, but also the amount of population spread. So again, I don't think this is going to include a stadium project built, but having the training center, and I don't even think this is something that will be used often by the U.S. men and women's senior national teams when they're training for friendlies. But it would be the perfect place for these January camps, for all the youth national team camps, to just know you're sending them all to the same place and owning the facilities. Because I'm pretty sure when they did their cost analysis, all those camps they just did this past month, John, probably cost a lot of money to rent out all the space.
Yeah.
Even they're probably getting a sweet deal from Bradenton and what is it now, Dignity Health Sports Park and all these places. It still costs money to rent that. So what would it be just better to have your facility at one spot? because you're already going to have to rent out office space. So,
You're wearing a particular jersey today.
I don't want to talk about it. I am nervous beyond all get out, John.
That was my question. That was my question. It's like, how nervous are you?
I am very nervous because, as any Arsenal fan will tell you, February tends to be a very bad month for the Gunners, and both men's and women's national teams are both men's and women's senior teams are feeling that right now. It is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're at a plus 202 today. You're a home underdog currently.
Well, I think anytime you play City, you're an underdog. But I take confidence in the fact that we've just played them in a cup match and looked much better than they did in the first half. We made a substitution to our defensive midfield position, and we got overrun in the second half. I don't expect Sambi Lakonga to somehow be a part of the team anymore and come onto the field and look that overrun. I expect Partey to be able to go the 90 minutes. So that all is good. You play at home. Look, as an Arsenal fan, just don't lose. If you don't lose, you're good. Get out of February with your head above water. Don't lose today. You get a draw, that's fine. Like, honestly, if you get a draw, that's fine. You still got a game in hand over City. Mm-hmm. You're 3 points ahead of them. You've continued to at least climb the ladder. I'm nervous, John.
I know you're nervous. Manchester City's a plus 149 in the composite. Draws a plus.
Well, I don't believe that they're gonna get punished. Like you say, oh, they're about to get punished. I don't believe that. You saw what happened to Chelsea. What punishment did they get? Oh, a transfer ban for 1 year or whatever it was. Oh, darn! Look how that's affected them.
Will, it's probably looking like 2 to 4 years is what they're looking at for the final answers when it comes to the Manchester City charges. So the only thing that could happen is that if the team that Bart is representing this morning in both mug and jersey, if they do not win, they wouldn't probably get it either because it would be vacated and they would not get it to a second place team. So Bart's trying to get to the end of the season on top, so you don't have to even worry about all that kind of stuff. But 2 to 4 years is what you're looking at for Manchester City, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I don't know, concerned about Man City's punishment. I'm trying to win the league right now.
Speaking of that, by the way, let me see if I can. Yes, okay. So your
Ricky, I'm for it being in Gwinnett. By the way, I'm for the H in Gwinnett. Ricky, do that.
Everybody flies into Briscoe Field. That's exactly how it goes. In the Arsenal-Brentford match, Mikel Arteta has accused VAR Lee Mason of not understanding his job after the official allowed the late equalizer against the side to stand, when it should have been ruled out for offside. Ivan Toney's 74th minute goal got the 1-1 draw, despite Christian Norgard being offside as he crossed for the striker to score, with PGMOL admitting it was a human error to allow the goal as Mason forgot to draw the offside lines on the midfielder. As a result of the error, he was dropped from VAR duties for this weekend. Second time he's received punishment after disallowing a Newcastle goal against Crystal Palace in September. Arteta said the blunder cost Arsenal 2 points in their title race.
It absolutely did.
Both Arsenal and City face each other today. Quote, "We ended the Brentford game after analyzing it with the evidence and images with a huge anger and disappointment," Arteta said in the pre-match, "because that wasn't a human error. That was a big, 3 bigs, big, not conceiving and understanding your job. That's not acceptable. I'm sorry." And that cost Arsenal 2 points, and that's not going to be restored.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think Lee Mason absolutely understood his job.
How do you not draw a line?
I think he understood what his job was. Look, how do you not draw the lines, right? That's like the whole point of VAR in the Premier League is you use lines. So I don't understand, like, you use lines. Even when it's a mile offside, they go, yeah, let's draw the lines, and they're there. So I don't understand how you just forget to do that. I don't believe that he forgot. I don't. There is malicious intent here.
Wow. Okay. Malicious intent.
And this is coming from an Arsenal fan.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Should be
Yeah.
Should be 5 points clear of Manchester City with again, a draw here today, and you're 5 points clear is fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. See, as the Gooner takes his sip of what's your early morning?
Yeah, black helicopters are circling because again, this guy has a history of not doing his damn job. Get rid of him. Like, it's not even like, oh, you made it's not even, oh, I made a mistake on the field where I called a foul that maybe shouldn't have been a foul, or no.
This is fantastic.
This is your job as the video assistant referee to not, like, you have all the time and resources at your availability. You could have a checklist. Did I draw the lines?
Make sure Man City closes the gap.
Right. I mean, he is from Manchester, so.
Oh, wow.
The black helicopters are circling. Shockingly, a Manchester-born man
Ricky
screwed
says,
us over in a title race against the Manchester team.
I was not aware that 21 Savage willed you winning the league into existence. I did not know this.
Hopefully. Oh, yeah, we apparently are going to get an Atlanta United kit drop at 11 a.m. So
yes,
I'm sure no one's seen it. It's going to be such a shock. But
yeah, and because a lot of teams in the last half hour have been releasing their kits on social media, and you've been seeing these kinds of things. So,
John, this is my question to you.
I'll see if I have an answer.
Would you? I'm going to ask you a couple questions to lead up to this.
Sure.
Would you agree that MLS, most of their decisions are based on trying to make money?
Yeah, you would hope so.
To maximize profit and revenue, correct?
Maximize revenue, yeah, especially with a new television contract and all that. Yeah, I would say.
Would you not say that jersey sales are a potential major source of revenue for the league?
I would posit to that, yes.
Okay. Why not release jerseys right before the holidays, or within like a month before the holidays, so people can buy them and get them as Christmas presents?
Well, and I see that as well. But I also see the momentum that you are trying to create going into your season.
Yes, I agree with you on that point.
Yeah, so I think that it has to do with momentum. It looks like Austin has produced a 2-minute, 15-second video releasing their Verde this year. La Voces kit is here, so it's a 2-minute.
That one looks a little trippy. Columbus has theirs out.
Yep.
Listen, from what I've seen, these kits on the whole. Thanks to Adidas for getting the message that we've been sending them, that we want something interesting, because these kits have patterns on them. They are bold. They are not trying to be quiet. The Red Bulls kit is beautiful. It is beautiful. The like tie-dye-ish, blue with the yellow. That's fantastic. It looks a little bit too much like Club America, but like, these kits are good. So thank you, Adidas, for getting this finally.
And let's see, I've seen the NYCFC kit has they call it the Burrow kit. That is out. Cincinnati's River kit is out. Austin's
There's not a river through Cincinnati. That thing is so small. I don't know what they're talking about. Sorry.
So there's but it's the bridge that you cross over in the open to WKRP.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So it's that river. It's that bridge. It's like,
is that on the Olentangy, or is that on the what's the other one with the S? I've been drunk way too many times in Columbus Standards to remember those words.
Yeah, see, Seattle's Bruce Lee Dragon kit on the back of the Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
I mean, Seattle's done some fantastic work.
They're trying. Like, props to Adidas. They're getting the message that we want something interesting.
Yep. So, and the inverted sash this time on the Revs kit.
The Revs kit is at least interesting. Yeah.
So I haven't seen any kit so far that I haven't gone. I mean, I haven't seen a bad kit. Now, and Nix, I understand that the Revs kit is garbage. I mean, it's taking the old sash going from the right shoulder down to left hip and flipping it and kind of fuzzing it out a little bit.
I'd rather them swing and miss than watch the ball go right past them. Right? Like, don't take the pitch. At least try.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. It's out, John.
It's out. It's out. The socks
The
are out.
17s kit. All right. They are calling this the 17s kit.
The socks are out for 2017. So are you watching the promotional video?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
So,
It
wow,
is.
it's 1 minute and 51 seconds.
Man, Apple TV comes in, they start making actual movies with this crap.
Of course they do. Yeah, I mean, you got to sit there and figure out, okay, here's your creative process. And so, we have folks going over Pantone. We have measurements.
Yeah, I saw Larry as well.
We have measurements and all of the kits of the past as a way of remembrance. And now it's time to go forward and think forward as to what we're going to do here in 2023. There's a lot of thought going into it.
I like the measuring. I'm not quite sure what we're measuring, but I'm here for it.
I think it probably it has to be, it's proportionality and spacing.
Baby.
I think it has to do with spacing.
Okay, there it is.
You got to sit there and go, okay. And there's a lot of neon.
Oh.
There's neon in the video.
I like the red. I like the red socks with this kit a lot.
Yes. Okay.
This looks good. This looks actually. I'm putting this out there. This looks better than the original.
And who's the first man that was there? It was Air Force One.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he could have gone without his shirt, but we're okay. We are the A. Okay.
So everyone is every player is pointing to the crest. Yeah. Quite proud. We are the A with the UN17ED on the back, on the back of the back of the neck, the top of the trim.
Yeah, I like this a lot better than the original, actually.
Okay.
I think I like the more red focus. I think that's really nice.
The stripes are wider.
And I like there's a lot more gold on it.
And it is 5 elements down the front.
Yep.
And the stripes take over.
Yes.
The logo length.
Yep.
And the Adidas. So the Adidas logo and the crest are not larger than the stripes themselves.
Right.
So the black stripes take
that is
over.
A plus.
Yeah, the black stripes engulf the length of the Adidas logo and the crest, so that way it doesn't look like it's placed on top of it. So,
this is good.
Okay.
I'm pleased with this.
Okay.
Wholeheartedly. I think it's a very good kit. I am of the opinion that you could give me the same kit every other year and I'd still buy it.
Yeah.
That's I think the flaw that Adidas and Nike operates under is that it has to be different every time. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It just has to be good every time.
Yeah. So
I like it.
There you go.
I don't know. Probably people are gonna disagree with me, but I think it's the best one we have personally.
Okay.
I think the design is better.
It's right there. CONCACAF says that the Dominican Republic is going to be named the host of the 2023 CONCACAF Women's U20. That's come out as well.
Oh, good for them.
And so yes, we have a kit. So there it is. So what is your itinerary, sir, for the rest of the day?
Well, I'm going to try to work as much as possible before 3 p.m. because there's apparently something happening then that I need to pay attention to.
Okay.
And then after that, I'm going to hopefully be happy.
There you go. All right. Well, be safe, stay dry, continue working so you can finish. And we will, I'm sure a lot of folks will be seeing you down at the stadium for AmFam 2 Electric Boogaloo.
I actually won't be there tonight.
Oh,
they did not lure me in with those Leagues Cup tickets, John. Sorry. Wasn't willing to pay another $200 just to have the chance to watch the Leagues Cup. No. Sorry, I'm not sold on it yet.
Okay.
I'm also on the my just moral standpoint right now is I'm not giving this team any more of my money until they prove to me that they're going to actually win, which still to be determined. All
right. Well, continue working because of like 3 o'clock and stuff. And as always, Golden Ticket, just yell at us and you come hopping in.
Will do. Thanks, John, for having me. Thank you all. Be good.
All right, Bart, he's getting ready for some match at 3 o'clock that has a lot to do with his jersey. So there's Bart. All right, so let's go through gossip, rumor, and innuendo, things left unsaid before we go, and what is on the television as well. So a lot of folks are releasing their kits. Most of them started in the 10 o'clock hour. You saw Atlanta's. We talked through the video. The video is on the Twitters. and very, very nice looking stuff. Manchester United are interested in signing Tammy Abraham from Roma. Chelsea ready to join the race for Jude Bellingham, ready to sign the £100 million plus. Once again, mentioned The Guardian, the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, expected to make the bid of more than £4 billion for Manchester United by the Friday deadline. Leicester have stepped up contract talks with James Maddison Knicks as he gets to the last 12 months of his deal. Ansu Fati has no intention of leaving Barcelona despite offers from Spurs, Arsenal, Bayern Munich, along with interest from Manchester United. Arsenal have reignited their interest in Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan. Spurs exploring a summer move for Sevilla's Moroccan keeper Yassine Bounou, known as Bono, as they look for a long-term replacement for Hugo Lloris. Villa expecting offers for Emi Martinez this summer, under no pressure to sell as he's under contract through 27. That's on the 4-letter paper. Take the information at your own risk. Rodrigo says he had a transfer agreement in place with Barca before he joined Real Madrid. Fenerbahce interested in signing Mason Greenwood from Manchester United. Leeds would have to pay Al Ittihad about £5.25 million in compensation if they want to bring in Nuno. That's from the Telegraph. Yikes. Going from Jesse Marsh to Nuno. Manchester United have an active interest in signing Real Valladolid's right back Ivan Fresneda. Atletico Paranaense have turned down an offer from Barca and 2 other clubs for Victor Roque, the 17-year-old Brazilian striker who also reported to be a target for Arsenal. Soccer on TV today, and there's a decent amount. Bart mentioned that game that's happening at 3 o'clock. That's part of it. Copa Libertadores is on BN and Español, El Nacional and Nacional Potosi. Champions League today, Borussia Dortmund, Chelsea's at 3 on big CBS. U17 Men's Championship is on FS2. Mexico and Panama at 5. USA, Canada at 8. ESPN Deportes has La Liga, Real Madrid and Elche at 3. Liga MX, Monterrey and Querétaro at 8. 2 to NA, Dortmund, Chelsea at 3. Necaxa and Pumas at 9. Unimas has Dortmund and Chelsea as well. On the plus, Sheffield United, Middlesbrough at 3, Real Madrid and Elche at 3, Monterrey and Querétaro at 7:30. Paramount Plus has both of your Champions League matches. The other one, Club Brugge and Benfica. Peacock has Arsenal, Manchester City at 2:30, and Guadalajara and Tijuana at 8. VIX has your Champions League Club Brugge and Benfica. VIX Plus has both Champions League games and all 4 of the U17s. Trinidad, Tobago, Mexico, Panama at 5, USA, Canada, Guatemala, Curacao at 8. Juice boxes. We mentioned Arsenal and Manchester City at 2:30. Arsenal still is a plus 202. Manchester City is a plus 149. A lot of Copas going on. 4 matches in the championship at 245. Bristol City's a minus 103 hosting Wigan, big underdog. Luton Town, favorite at a plus 162 at Preston North End. Stoke a minus 114 for Neil Warnock's debut at Huddersfield at a plus 362. Swansea at a minus 156, hosting Blackpool at a plus 433. You've got Premiership in Scotland, 2 matches in the Championship at 2 o'clock. Sheffield United's favorite at a plus 102, hosting Middlesbrough. West Brom at a minus 154, hosting Blackburn at plus 484. Champions League numbers. Dortmund is a plus 131, hosting Chelsea at a plus 224. Club Brugge, big underdog at home to Benfica. Benfica is a plus 120. Bruges is a plus 367. Real Madrid, big favorite, minus 500, hosting Elche at 3 o'clock in La Liga. Then late in the afternoon, we start to get into Central and South American action. All the campeonatos in Brazil. Copa Colombia is going on. Chico and Cartagena. A lot of Copas and campeonatos in Brazil all evening long. Get you into the 6 o'clock and the dinner hour. Man, there's a lot of campeonatos in Brazil. Friendlies going on in the 7 o'clock hour and the 7:30 hour. Then you get into South American action. Liga MX doubleheader at 8:05. Monterrey's a big favorite, hosting Querétaro at a minus 227. Chivas a minus 122, hosting Xolos at a plus 334. Necaxa is a plus 156. Pumas is a plus 161. So the juice boxers have pretty much thrown a blanket over both of them because they're within the margin of error with each other. So that's where we are. All right. So before we go, let's see. Yeah, I know. What happened to the Sox? We didn't get to see the Sox. So thanks to all of that. Thanks to all of you for playing along with that. Numerals of gold, and that is good for TV. Good for TV. We like that when that happens. We like numbers that bounce off of kids. It'd be interesting to see what the other numbers look like with all the other clubs. Okay, once again, plans for tonight. 7 o'clock, Star 94, because the Hawks are on 92.9 the game. Mike and Jason. Emily Gagnon from CBS 46, Atlanta's News First, WANF, and myself have the pregame show starting at 7, kickoff about 7:39. Elongated halftime show and a post-game a little bit there with Mike and Jason and on the radio side as well. So it'll be really fun. Be great to see everybody down there tonight for AmFam 2 Electric Boogaloo. Toluca coming to town. Currently, they played on Sunday afternoon in Liga MX. That is their time slot. If they can get that Sunday afternoon time slot, you get the 1 o'clock game on Liga MX on Sundays. It's Toluca at home. Toluca right now 7th in the table, 2-3-1. They won last time out. They beat Cruz Azul 3-1 on Sunday. So they're coming in from playing Cruz Azul, winning at home. They flew in yesterday and practiced last night at Mercedes-Benz, and they will be ready to go for the match today. So once again, 7th in the table, big groups together, a whole lot of teams, not a lot of points separating you from 5th to 14th right now, literally 3 points. And Toluca's right there in the mix of that. They are in a playoff spot right now in 6th at 2-3-1. So looking forward to seeing everybody there. Hope you listen. Hope you can access it. However, I hope so, Nix. I hope that will be Toluca fans there tonight. I hope there are. I think it'll be fun. And please, as always, be as incredibly hospitable as you guys are. Show them what the 17s are all about. And so it'll be fun tonight with Toluca coming in for AmFam Cup. We'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll talk about all the other stuff tomorrow that is on your mind because it's Thursday Thoughts. And Thursday Thoughts are pretty much wide open. So whatever you guys want to talk about tomorrow as we get ready for the match in St. Louis on Saturday, which is behind closed doors. So since it is the end of the show, thanks to Bart Keeler for dropping by and being nervous about Arsenal and Man City. It's the end of the show, so that means I get to do this. Mucha plati, I'll play it safe. We'll see you at 9:05 again tomorrow morning where we get to talk about the AmFam Cup. And that much closer to the beginning of the regular season in Major League Soccer. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks to everybody on the Twitch pitch for doing it and being a part of the conversation as you always are. We will see you at Mercedes-Benz. We'll see you again in the morning.